guys, welcome back to Dueling Destination. Today I have a very interesting deck profile for PSY-Frames. This deck was shown to me by my friend Micheal Cowo, a Belizean duelist. This deck is something that I believe can be very impactful in the meta, as Call by the Grave does not affect this deck at all. This card does not affect this deck, none at all. The only card that this card will affect in here is Ghost Ogres. All PSY-Frame cards get summoned out to the field, not sent to the graveyard. So all of them play around this card. So let's start with the deck profile. I'll let you guys know that today I'll be going to locals and I'll be taking this deck to see how it performs. I've been playing it online, and what I've realized is that a lot of people rage quit when they're playing this deck because they're used to playing just automatic decks. While this deck, you gotta think a lot. And like I said, my friend Micheal really showed me how to play this deck. And let's start. You're gonna start with one of the best cards in the format, Gamma, as this stops all hand traps or monster effects. This gets special summoned to the field with a driver, and that lets you counter your opponent's play. Then you go into Beta. Beta is a PSY-Frame monster that negates your opponent's monster attack. But when it does, it destroys that monster and ends their battle phase. So at that point, they can't continue. If you get rid of the first monster, you end their battle phase and they feel like they're gonna OTK you, and you just show them a Beta, special summon with a driver. It's over. They end their battle phase. I remember all of these guys are tuners, so we'll get to that in a while too. Then next we have Alpha. Alpha is somewhat a good card, but I felt like it could have been better because this states that when your opponent normal or special summons a monster, you can special summon this card and a driver, and at that point you get to add a PSY-Frame card from your deck to your hand. It would be better if the monster's summon would be negated, which would give it even more, but it doesn't negate the summon, but you gotta play 3 Alpha. Next, one of the best cards I believe also is Delta, as this card negates spell activations. If you know, the format isn't that trap heavy format, so by hitting spells, this card sets your opponent back a few moves because they won't be able to extend their plays. So we gotta run triple copies of them. Next, we run one single copy of Multi-Threader. This is just a driver in hand, but it's really good because you use Black Rose in here in this deck. So if you Black Rose to destroy and you wanna keep your field card, you just discard this. It saves your field card, so lets you save the monster, or even if you have a monster that you want to save, you just discard this. It saves your field spell, and even if you have a monster you want to save, you can discard and you can save that monster instead. Next, the main guy, Driver. You gotta run triple copies of Driver because all of these tuners or the PSY-Frame cards special summon Driver from the hand, graveyard, or deck. While Multi-Threader is considered driver in the hand and graveyard, but it's not considered in the deck, you still gotta run triple copies of Driver because even if you draw into these guys, they're not dead because of the field spell. The field spells lets you discard a card, which amps up your PSY-Frame cards, so gives them the attack. So Driver is a really good card, and with these guys you keep banishing and you need all copies of Driver. I went into a duel where I lost all my drivers and my Multi-Threader, but I still won because I had 1 Omega. You gotta play Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. I only chose to play 2 of them because it's a good card, but with so much hand traps in this deck, I believe that you just need 2. And next you're gonna play 2 Card Ds. Card Ds are really good in this deck because you can tribute them to draw 2 cards and end your turn. At that point, it's okay because you don't need monsters on the field, because you're gonna activate your PSY-Frame effects once you have a monster on the field, so you need all of them out. You need all your monsters off the field. Next, we'll go to trap cards. So, like I said, this deck depends on you not having monsters on the field. In that case, you use 2 Drowning Mirror Forces. As this says, when your monster's opponent declare a direct attack, shuffle all your attack position monster your opponent controls into the deck, so they never see this coming. We gotta search out one of the most important cards in the deck, which is the field spell card. So we use Metaverse. And now the best trap card in the deck, which is Overload. This card is really great. At first I didn't think that it was going to be so good, but discarding one card to banish one card your opponent control is really good. And when this card is sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card to select a PSY-Frame card from your deck and add it to your hand, which is really good. And with Omega, you just keep sending this back to your graveyard during your opponent's standby, so you get unlimited resources there. One call by the grave. I'm testing this out because the biggest problem here is that if they ash you, which they can only run triple copies of ash, but with I can gamma the ash, so I don't think I need a lot of this, so I'll just try one. Next, I decided to use Pot of Desires, as Omega can get cards back from my banished pile into my graveyard, so which I can use later on. I used 2 copies of Path of Duality as for draw power, because this deck does need cards in hand, so you can optimize your plays. 2 cards, Quiet Life. At first, I was a bit skeptical about this card, but then noticing that a lot of people try to normal summon first, then they go into their play, this card really limits them, because if you normal summon, you cannot special summon. If you special summon, you cannot normal summon. So you gotta really think when your opponent has to really think when they're playing with this card on the field. Next, I play 2 Foolish Barrel of Goods. This is to send the PSY-Frame overload to the graveyard, so I can get cards added to my hand next turn. This was a card I wasn't sure about. Psychic Field Zone. At first, I said I don't know when I would use this card, but then I started realizing that sometimes I don't have my field spell card on the field, and I need to negate my opponent's cards. So in doing so, my cards are going to get banished at the end of the turn. Then drawing into this card or having this in your hand for your turn, you activate this, send back the monsters that were banished to the graveyard, and special summon a synchro monster, which makes it way good. So even though my opponent would say, oh well, he's banishing his monsters, his drivers, I can get them back and get them synchro summon, which will send the driver back to the graveyard and let it be live again. Now, I also use 2 terraformings to start out the field spell card. Metaverse, like I said, does work when you need it or during your opponent's turn, but sometimes you need that terraforming first turn because you want to draw into your field spell card to make sure that you set up for your opponent's turn when they go. So this build is mostly built to go first and second. That's what I was aiming for. Now, the most important card in the deck is the field spell card. Without this card, the deck works, but it's slower. Basically, it's gonna be very difficult for you if you have not gotten a field spell card to your hand or activated on the field. But a lot of times, a lot of people forget the second effect of this card, that you can discard one PSY-Frame monster. Battling monster gains attack equal to the discarding monster's attack at the end phase. So, next, we'll go into the extra deck. We gotta start off with double copies of Omega. I'm thinking of taking this up to 3, but I'm not sure as yet. I also have triple copies of PSY-Frame Lord. Zeta. This is a nice card to have on the field when your opponent special summons a lot, because if they go into a XYZ summon, when you banish this card and the XYZ monster, they'll lose their materials. So when it comes back, it's almost useless to them. Next, we have one of the most powerful cards I'd say that you'd use is Black Rose Dragon. You don't commit a lot to your board, and most times all the cards are going to be in your hand. The only card that might be in the field that you'll have to be worried about is this field spell card, which at that point, like I was saying, when you Black Rose the field, you can protect it with multi-threader. So in that protection state, this PSY-Frame circuit is going to remain on the field while your opponent's cards get all destroyed. These other cards are just pluses that I believe you can use in the deck, which are a Yang Zing card, Red Dragon Archery, Ancient Fairy Dragon, Ancient Secret Wyvern, Leo, Clear Wing Synchro Dragon, and Star Eater. You might be saying, well, how can you take all of these cards? That's when we go to the side deck. Then you'll see what we can do with them there. Now for the side deck, I might start maining this card, I'm not sure, but for now it's gonna be in the side deck, and that's 3 Epsilon. This is good in the side deck because a lot of times people are gonna side evenly match. This card is good against evenly match and reincarnation, which are very meta defying cards right now. So having it in the side deck is, I believe, it's one of the best choices. Next we'd have Wind Up Rabbit. Next I have this rabbit card here. With this card you can banish it until your next standby phase, which is gonna leave the field so your field is clear and you have opportunity to activate your monster effects from your hand, but you still have a monster on the field. So it's kinda, to me, I'm gonna try it out and see. If not, I'll just switch it out to maybe 2 torrential tributes. Next, Emergency Teleport. That's gonna give you access to these guys. Then we have here Cosmic Cyclone, Microcosmos, Rivalry of the Warlords. I think this is a good card against meta right now. With a lot of people playing different rogue decks that depend on having different type of monsters on the field, that's good against them. Also, I'm gonna try the Krakumera engine to see how it works, as these guys negate monster effects, spell cards, and monster summons. So they negate it by tributing themselves. As once they tribute themselves, then you end up with no monsters on the field. It's gonna let you able to use the PSY-Frame cards in your hand. Well guys, remember to like and subscribe as we continue trying to give the best content we can. Thank you again for watching the video. See you next time.